The South East Melbourne region determined their initiatives through a large industry workshop. 60 people attended. It represented aged care industry and those organisations that touch aged care, so RTOs, Medicare locals, local, state and federal government. From that 60-person full-day workshop, 2 initiatives were selected as being the priorities for the region. Those 2 priorities were right fit new entrants and leadership. The right fit new entrants was a little bit more than the ability to recruit the workforce for the future, but it was also about how we both attract and retain and train. So everything from, do we market aged care well? Do we actually attract people into aged care, and how would we anyway? Do we train them appropriately? Is this the quality and content of Cert 3 training good? And then, do we retain them? So what sort of entry into aged care is it? Is it I go off to school, I get a dodgy work experience moment, and then I end up in a job and go like, I'm not even sure this is what I wanted to do, and I'm pretty well left to sink and swim. You've got the quals, oh, well, you don't even have the skills, we're going to have to totally train you again anyway. And it can be a less than ideal process. So this was saying, we actually think we needed to work in partnership with everyone, and they're actually going to use the traineeship model so that new entrants are first of all attracted through a filtering process in partnership with job service agencies who have, I guess, access to job seekers, so that they'll start the filtering process to make sure that the right people come to our recruitment event. They've also got to register for the recruitment event. They can't just rock up. We'll probably get 200 people at each recruitment event, but they've had to actually send electronically a Word document that they filled in, emailed off to register. So in that, they're actually asked, why do they want to be there? So that question will even form part of the filtering process. They'll be given a whole lot of information on the day where they can self-select out of aged care. Oh Lord, you know, it's jeepers, I might have to shower someone and they'd be naked. I'm not sure I want to do that. I hadn't thought about that. No, maybe I don't want to do aged care. And it's okay, walk out the door. Don't stay for the whole event. Don't waste your day. So the information that's given in the morning covers everything from the academic requirements and commitment of doing a Cert 3, the traineeship gives and gets, and the actual work. We've got Cert 3 workers who are going to talk about what's it like to work in a HAC-PAG program, what's it like to work in a home care program, and what's it like to work in a residential care program. So that they can say at the end of that, oh, I've got a better idea of what the work is like, and I've heard it from someone who actually does the work. Then there'll be Google corners where people can just go and say, can I just talk to you about the fact that you talked about police checks? And you know, I bought cigarettes when I was 16 and we got caught. Will that mean that I won't get through? And you can reassure me that actually that won't stop me from getting a job in aged care. I might go to the Google corner around the training and say, I'm really worried about my language and literacy. And the training corner will actually be able to talk to them about language and literacy sort of skills development before I go into the Cert 3 training. It may be that I'm not registered with a JSA, and the JSA, we know now, can fund my pre-vocational if I'm selected. So I can go to the JSA corner and say, look, I'm not registered with the JSA, can I please get registered? And they're all set ready to register you on the day if you're eligible. We'll also have Centrelink there in that same JSA corner to sort of help providing a little bit more information on what are the other supports and services that are out there to help job seekers. So we want the day to be all about them. After lunch, they get to come back and participate in a speed interview if they're still interested. If they haven't been given so much information, let's hope they've got the right information to decide, am I going to stay, am I still interested, or actually I'm not interested, I'm leaving. So if they're still there at the end, they'll participate in a speed interview, a focus group. The best ones will go into a pre-voc, and the best of those will be offered a traineeship. At the moment, we've got about 120 jobs on offer from 19 providers around South East Melbourne region, 60 at each recruitment event. So there's a lot sort of happening. Meanwhile, the review of the training will produce a guide, and educators will have to respond to that guide. If their response is not appropriate, then they will not be endorsed by region. Those who are endorsed by the region will then form part of an MOU around like a continuous improvement network in recognition that the skills that we will need in the future haven't all been identified yet. Okay, the second one was the leadership initiative. Again, we divided up all of our fabulous group of co-contributors into 4 task groups this time. One was to actually deliver the training program. We elected or selected for it to be at postgrad level because from a sustainability perspective, the NWDF and Skills Connect funds only require a co-contribution. Currently they're both in the freezer, which is a problem, but May budget we're assuming one of them will get back up at least. So, but doing a nationally accredited training program made it more affordable for small organisations who would then only have to contribute 30%. The educators formed Task Group 1 and they had to do all of the mapping of their chosen product against the National Capability Framework and Strategy. So the National Leadership Project has informed everything. Their first product that they brought us, we actually rejected. They then really manned up, and the second product that they've just delivered to us is excellent. The national team have actually said they've done the mapping extremely well. It's great. Task Group 2 recognised that really to develop a leader and the skills for leadership and to drive something at an organisational level of change, you need a mentor. But the mentor has to be a leader higher than you. And in some situations, it should be outside your organisation. Our first intake are going to be level 2, which is middle management. So their mentors will be level 1 managers from a different organisation. We've now got the mentoring specifications. From that, we've got a nomination form, and you can only nominate someone to be a mentor if they tick all the boxes. And the project team are going to look at the region, at the natural leaders in the region, and nominate level 1 mentors for the first intake. Task Group 3 were concerned with a professional network. What would happen after the classroom? How could you support each other through all of the barriers that you're still going to hit with change? Because some of it only gets to sort of surface a year later. And Task Group 4 are concerned with making sure that the organisations are actually prepared for this. Do they have a mandated change project? Have they actually committed to leadership skill development, or is this poor graduate going to have to come back into their organisation, not get to practice their leadership skills, that there is no change project for them to deliver? And in fact, it was just ticking the box, oh great, she's got leadership skills. But we're not really going to let her be a leader because we're just going to make sure that she follows all her day-to-day job. So the organisation needs to be committed. They can't get their staff member accepted into the program unless their nomination is accepted, and their nomination has criteria that the project board, which has been set up, will determine whether they meet that criteria, and if they meet that criteria, then their nominee will go in. So the actual program, because of the way we've structured the project, has now actually made sure that everybody's working together, that the RTOs are not just delivering a leadership program that they could RPL. When industry has said we're not sending you people that we believe have the skills. We're actually wanting to develop skills. This is not an RPL process. This is not about getting a qualification. This is about developing leadership skills in a collaborative way, so that I'm actually with other people who operate at my level and are facing the same sorts of things that I do. And industry themselves, just being kind of manned up, and recognising that they can't, again, just tell the educators to do it. And the educators can't just do it their way. If they want to be part of this, they've actually got to follow the process that's been determined through all of this. Any questions? Have I done it that well? Did you get it?
Did you do have you done one of the recruitment things yet?
Okay, the first recruitment event is next Thursday in Box Hill. I know, we're actually really excited. We've got so many people involved. And, you know, the kids sort of haven't got time to be here, but it is actually really exciting. So the nominations are coming in thick and fast. The JSAs haven't even been told yet that there's 60 jobs. When I tell them that tomorrow and I'm going to be ringing them all, I know that it's suddenly we're going to get and I can't afford for there to be more than 200 because we're feeding them. So I'm just like...
Oh, you know, food always goes further.
But there'll be a business case developed. So the business case will actually either support them to continue to work like this or not.
So have you got many people attending? How many people have you got signed up to actually go?
So job seekers.
Yeah.
So job seekers, I've lost track because I've been in Sydney since Monday night.
Okay,
So I don't even know. We had about 50 at each event last week, and I haven't had any feedback this week.
I'm from the mid-north coast.
I think it was based on the Bringing It All Together program. Yes, absolutely. We're doing it a little bit differently, but very much based on it. Absolutely. Okay, good.
But we're currently running, I'm just about to start the third one.
Excellent.
But we had
Brilliant.
the same thing, we had 200 inquiries.
I was going to ask something, but
It's fantastic.